Hello everyone, XV here from youtube.com/XVRogueGaming, back with another guide for Dotacinema. Last week we finished the basic beginner's guide to the bottom lane, so this week we'll be looking at the top lane and going back to the Radiant perspective. Remember that this guide is designed for introductory to intermediate learning. The advanced version will appear on my channel Monday for those of you who really want to dig deep. Starting with regular wards, this one is viable for both factions, but as Radiant, you're the ones threatened to be caught out at any moment, and the majority of fighting should take place on this side of the trees. Unfortunately, this ward does nothing but defend against ganks, but it's still worth having. Another good spot is here. It watches the rune and also the entrance to the dire jungle, helping to spot ganks from middle who will often head up the river and then duck into the woods after grabbing the rune. As Radiant though, in the top lane, blocking camps is also very viable, and it should be put into play at minimum to stop the pull camp, but if you want to go for broke, you can also hardcore shut down dire junglers. As mentioned before, while many people think that blocking a camp is based on vision or a fixed proximity, that's not accurate. Instead, each camp has a specific area around it that lacks any kind of rhyme or reason beyond being true to Dota 1. That said, camps do have their borders denoted by the terrain around them. If any unit, including wards, are within these borders on the minute mark, nothing will spawn. Let's start with the pull camp. In my opinion, there are 3 viable places to ward if your goal is to block this camp. This ward is good because it blocks the camp while also remaining out of sight to most sentries by being behind the trees. But if you want more versatility, this ward not only blocks the camp but also gives you excellent vision to avoid ganks. This ward is kinda like the kid sibling of the previous because it gives only decent vision but not great. The only time I employ it is if the other one is being dewarded and I want to use something less commonly deployed. Next up, the easy camp. If you spot the enemy team picking a jungler, throw a ward here before the game starts. Not only will it block the camp, but it is also out of sight without some serious lumberjack action. The hard camp, right by lane, really only has one viable ward. Out of sight, it blocks the camp and prevents any kind of chain pulling. For the sake of completion, you can block this camp with a ward back here, which will still provide decent vision. And if you want to block this camp, the best place would be right here. Playing top lane as Radiant is a lot like bottom as Dire, save for a few key differences such as warding discussed earlier and stacking ancients, which I covered in my advanced guide to bottom as Dire. So while there is more to be said about the top lane as Radiant, that's it for the basic version, and I hope that you found this video useful for taking your game to the next level. On my channel Monday in the advanced guide, I'll be taking this a lot further, discussing some of the more subtle nuances of the lane and how its geography dramatically affects ganks. As before, it's you who decide the topics I'll cover, so be sure to post in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please thumbs up, share, and subscribe to Dotacinema and my channel to stay up to date. Until next week, this is XV, signing out.